What it do, guys? Manjoume here, and today we're checking out the Versus System two-player card game, Volume 1, Issue 11, Crossover 1. Now, this is a culmination or little add-on to everything that came out within that Volume 1, except for some couple things that were kind of standalone. That includes, I think, the Buffy battles, does not have anything in this set, but many of the others do. Now, looking at the front, we see the Blob, who actually has hair in this version. See Spider-Man 2099, a personal favorite of my own. And I think Armin Zola? I liked how in the older sets that it was just a plain color with some words here. It's very easy to read, whereas a newer set, it's a little harder to read, not impossible, but between the two, which is more legible, I would say this one. But I guess aesthetically, it's a little ugly just to have a colored line at the bottom. Looking at the side, we see a continuation of the artwork. On the top, crossover. On the back, 55 cards and a rule sheet. And on the side, this final issue for Volume 1 of Versus System two-player card game is comprised of a marvelous collection of additional content for your favorite Marvel teams. Included are 6 new main characters and 10 new supporting characters across 11 different teams, adding the perfect complements to your practically perfect decks. All that to say, they add like 1 or 2 things per set, or 1 or 2 things per team. Here's the literature that we'll check out in a bit, but let's take a look at the included cards. First up, we have Arnim Zola, so I did get the name right on that one. He is a Hydra character, 5 health, range, 1/6 stat line ESP box. This game you can play equipment as supporting characters instead. Equipment played this way have attack and defense equal to their cost, 1 health, and swarm, and they count as the equipped character. Life is what you make it. Level up 9 times. When a card appears on your side, Arnizola gains XP equal to its cost. His level 2. He now has a 310 stat line, a new robot body. Reaction red. When this character is KO'd, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal an equipment. Put it on your side as a main character instead with this power. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck. So I guess he just becomes the ESP box. Like it's just like another one of those. And he, as long as you have red, I suppose you could continually create more and more of these bodies for him. So he's never going to be truly dead until you run out of the resources. And that's interesting. Now for the Brotherhood of Mutants, we have Blob with hair. 6 health, 2/4 stat line, boing. During either player's turn, combat green, choose an attacker. As it strikes Blob this combat, it also strikes itself. Immovable object, level up 4 times at the end of your turn. If Blob didn't move since the end of your last turn, he gains an XP. His level 2, 4/8 stat line. He still has boing, but gains absorb impact during either player's turn, combat blue. If Blob is defending, he can't be stunned this combat. At the end of the combat, put a +1/1 counter on him for each attacker that struck him. Now for the Sinister Syndicate team, we have Green Goblin. 1 health because he is part of the Sinister Six, so that is a group of main characters. They're all level 1, and for the most part, they all have 1 health, but there's 6 of them. So as you go through, you'll have 1 at a time. That one gets KO'd, you'll go to the number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This one has Flight, a 5/3 stat line, and Bag of Tricks. When a Goblin enters combat, you may discard up to 1 of each location below. Then draw that many cards. For each location discarded this way, this combat, Academy. Goblin strikes before each other character, Laboratory. Goblin also strikes an enemy supporting character not in combat. Training Ground, when Goblin strikes a character, stun it. Fortress, when Goblin stuns a supporting character, KO it. And Oscorp counts as a location you didn't discard. So really, really cool here. Powerful. For the Shield team, we have Phil Coulson, 5 health, range, 2/5 stat line, and special agent. Coulson counts as an agent. Level 7 clearance, level up 7 times. When another agent appears on your side, Coulson gains an XP. So I guess that means you'll have to get 7 other characters, but if you can swarm or get like a bunch of them, he'll eventually level up. Seems a little slow, but maybe there's ways to kind of fill it up quicker. His level 2 has a 4/9 stat line and gains I'm a Guy with a Plan. Build yellow-red, draw a card for each face-up agent on your side. So obviously you want to have a bunch of agents with you, and once you do, he'll be a menace. Speaking of a menace, we have Spider-Man 2099, who, if you look at the artwork on the box, they just took that same artwork and rotated it. Just something I noticed there. 5 health, 1/3 stat line, little weak, flight, and climb. At the start of your main phase, you may exhaust a location on your side, and if you do, put a +1/1 counter on Spider-Man 2099. Rewritten DNA. Level up 4 times. At the start of your main phase, you may discard a character, and if you do, Spider-Man 2099 gains an XP. I mean, if you're going second, great. If you're going first, you're going to be starting with a lot fewer cards, but hey, that does seem fairly easy to accomplish. His level 2, he now has a 3/6 stat line. He retains climb, but gains venomous fangs. When Spider-Man 2099 enters melee combat, put 2 -1/1 counters on each enemy character in the combat. That's pretty cool because if he gets team attacked, like 2 characters attack him, each one gets the -1/1, which is pretty rad, I think. For some reason, we go back to the Sinister Six with Venom, part of the Sinister Syndicate. 2 health, 2/2 stat line, and this was what I meant. He might actually be the only member of the Sinister Six to have more than 1 health, meaning if he gets knocked down, he'll still have 1, he'll come back. Other ones would be gone and you just be on to the next one. Relentless Bond. At the end of your turn, put a +1/1 counter on Venom. This power remains on while he's stunned. Symbiosis. Venom can have and gain +1 counters while stunned. So nothing to heal him built in, but he gets more powerful, which he definitely needs because he only has a 2/2 stat line. Going to the supporting character lineup for the Hydra team, we have Black Ant. 1 cost, 2 health, 1/1 stat line, and Shrink. When Black Ant gets attacked the first time each turn, you may cancel the combat. Life Model Decoy. Main green. Put 3 +1/1 counters on Black Ant for each Black Ant supporting character in your KO pile. I mean, I would think you probably just run him at max. Seems pretty decent, actually. Okay, so we have a supporting character for the Leviathan team, which is Leviathan Twin Drake. 1 cost, 2 health, flight, 2/2 stat line, one-of-a-kind creature. Leviathan Overseer. Leviathan characters on your side with Comet Fall gain Comet Fall. So I guess they get the effect twice. I'm not sure what it is, but there's 2 of them. Leviathan characters on your side lose and can't gain Lumbering. Lumbering is bad. It's actually not a good effect. It's put onto them to kind of balance them out because they're so powerful, but it's like a detriment. I forget exactly what it does, but I know it's detrimental. Leviathan characters on your side pay 1 less power symbol to use their superpowers. This is a really good card, especially for that deck. Paying 1 less power symbol in the games that I play, which granted aren't many and are not at high level, power symbols weren't really a concern to me. I mean, the other 2 effects are like great. This is like a Yu-Gi-Oh card where they're trying to fix an archetype by like putting 20 effects onto 1 card, and it's basically what this one's doing here. But really great card, and I would totally put this, or I will definitely be putting this into the Leviathan deck. Now for the Sinister Syndicate team, we have a Rhino, 1 cost, 1 health, 5/4 stat line, and Solitary. He cannot team attack. And Headlong Charge. When Rhino attacks a character in enemy front row, that character may sidestep. If it does, remove it from the combat, and you choose a character in their back row as the new defender, if able. So they just, well, I guess I want to protect my front row character, and the one in the back is going to be the one getting hit instead because he is still charging. Usually you want to protect the back row, so I don't know how often they'll want to opt to do that. But then again, if they don't, they're going to get hit pretty hard. But keep in mind, he can't team attack, so I mean, that's as strong as he's going to be unless you have +1/1 counters or other effects added onto it. For the Champions team, we have Ironheart, 3 cost, 1 health, flight and range, 4/4 stat line. We're all weirdos here. Supporting characters on your side can team attack with each other, ignoring team and row restrictions. Now that row restriction thing is actually really, really good. The team restriction isn't too much because the games that we're going to be playing, for the most part, that this will go into a champion's deck, which will not really commingle with anyone else. But the row restriction thing is actually really, really important. As of recording, I haven't opened the A4 set to really know how well Sif is going to play into that deck, assuming it's going to be pretty good. But she has 3 cost, 2 health, 6/6 stat line, so she's pretty strong. And her power is Goddess of War. As an additional cost to recruiter, pay 1 green. So it's only 3. 3 is not bad, but the additional resource of a green location is a little high. But she's pretty strong for only a 3 cost. For the Monsters Unleashed team, we have Abominable Snowman. 4 cost, 2 health, 3/7 stat line. Abominable. When Abominable Snowman appears, discard a card. Snowman. When Abominable Snowman strikes an enemy character, freeze it. It can't ready until after its next turn. So the first effect, not good for you. Second effect, that's pretty good. And he has 2 health, which is pretty decent as well. For the Shield team, we have Mockingbird. 4 cost, 2 health, 5/3 stat line, and Agent. When Mockingbird appears, look at cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of agents on your side. Put any of them to the bottom of your deck. This does play into Phil Coulson's ability because he wants agents. She's an agent. That works. Espionage. When Mockingbird appears, look at cards from the top of an enemy deck equal to the number of agents on your side. Put any number of them at the bottom of their deck. So that's like agent, but to your opponent. And where normally you would take cards that are not going to help you and put them at the bottom, you're going to take cards that would help your opponent and put them at the bottom of their deck. It's pretty cool. And now you have knowledge of what they're going to draw. For the Inhumans, we have Maximus. 6 cost, 2 health, range, 5/5 stat line, and Usurp the Throne. Main, yellow, 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 yellow. Move Maximus next to an enemy main character and KO it. And if you do, Maximus becomes a main character on that side, loses his power, and heals all of his wounds. That is a very interesting power, and a 5/5 isn't that powerful. More than likely is going to be weaker than whatever your opponent had on it, and now its team is no longer going to be, whatever your team was. Unless you happen to be fighting a mirror match of Inhumans, you're more than likely going to give them a character whose team does not match the rest of their characters, so they can't team attack with them. So, and he also has 2 health, which is no doubt going to be less than whatever character that they had, hopefully. Or if they had 2 or less, there may not even be a point to using this ability. But as it stands, it could be a pretty interesting way to play into things, and I will probably play around with this card in particular and the strategy when using it in Inhumans deck. I think it's worth trying. Omega Red, he's part of the Brotherhood of Mutants. 7 cost, 2 health, and 9/7 stat line. He has Grab. While Omega Red is in the front row, enemy characters cannot fly over him. Carbonadium Tentacles, main red. Choose up to 2 enemy characters Omega Red could melee attack on one side. For each one, daze it, or it can't strike back this turn. Seems pretty good. Here's another character from the A-Force stat line. I think it's like female fatales, fatale female. I forget exactly what it is, but it's something along those lines. It is Dark Phoenix with 9 cost, 2 health, flight and range, and a 10/15 stat line. Dark Phoenix, aka Phoenix, but not Jean Grey. Deconstruct the universe. When you recruit Dark Phoenix, you may remove one of the following concepts from the game. +1/1 and -1/1 counters, equipment, keyword text, levels, plot twists, and superpowers. That is monumental. Remove a concept from the game. And it doesn't say like while she's on the field or while she's face up or anything like that. Just she appears, this thing doesn't apply anymore. Levels, they're gone. Plot twists can't be played. that really helps her because she's already so strong that the only way to probably beat her is with the use of either those counters or plot twists. So without that, that's crazy. Keyword text, that's powerful too. Superpowers, like all this is like just crazy. Granted, you need 9 to get to her, so it's not going to be quick, it's not going to be often, but if you do, you're really going to be hurting your opponent in some way, then you're, man, that's crazy. That is wild. Speaking of incredibly wild, we have Captain Universe from the Spider Friends team. 12 cost, 5 health, flight, 25 stat line, aka Spider-Man, so it's Spider-Man when he has Captain Universe powers. I forget exactly what it's called. Oh, the Unipower. Okay. The Unipower chooses a partner. You pay less to recruit Captain Universe equal to the cost of a Spider-Man supporting character on your side. The time of peril has passed. At the end of your turn, if your main character's total remaining health is greater than or equal to the total remaining health of an enemy main character, KO Captain Universe. So he stands, once you've used him as a comeback mechanic, he goes away. But if you aren't quite there yet, he can stick around. And with 5 health, he's going to be really hard to get rid of, other than your opponent having to take one for the team with their main character being equal to or less than yours. So that's really crazy. And I love the fact that this is such old artwork, which I just absolutely love. Even says Captain Universe in the bubble. I don't know how often they use artwork like that, at least that has like text in the words. Not too many, it looks like. This is going to be one that I want to play around with to see if I can make it work. Then we have Stand Together, plot twist during either player's turn. This is during either player's turn, but it doesn't say it here, but it's a reaction. Loyalty, you may put this card in your deck only if all cards of your deck with a team affiliation share a team affiliation. In the picture, they're all champions. So it can go into any deck as long as you have loyalty to one team within that deck. Reaction, when an enemy character uses a superpower, cancel it if there are face-up characters on your side greater than or equal to the number of power symbols they paid. That seems pretty easy to do, and, well, it cancels out their power. That also seems pretty good. I like that. Like a trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's 4 of those. Pretty good. I'm surprised that's not a one-of-a-kind or something. Wow, there's a lot of cool stuff in this set. Which one is your favorite that you've seen here, and which main character would you like to see in action? Starting in 2018, at the end of every year, Versus System 2-player card game will put out a crossover Marvel issue with new cards for existing teams. This year's crossover features the following teams: A-Force, Femme Fatales, that's what that's called, Champions, Inhumans, Monsters Unleashed, Leviathans, Shield, Hydra, Brotherhood of Mutants, Spider Friends, and Sinister Syndicate. ESP Box takes effect once the game starts and lasts the whole game, even while Armanzola is stunned after he levels up and even after he is KO'd. You can play any equipment as a supporting character regardless of whether you have a character with a matching team affiliation. When you play one as a supporting character, it's no longer an equipment. It has a power that references equipped character, and it is its own equipped character. When it leaves play, it will go back to being an equipment. You can still play equipment normally and equip it to one of your characters, including an equipment that is being played as a supporting character. When Armanzola enters a new robot body, your new equipment turned main character will have attack and defense equal to its cost, 1 health, and swarm. It will count as its own equipped character, just like ESP Box. When that body gets KO'd, it can use its power again to jump into another robot body, so on. Note, if you want to use a wild special location to pay for this power, it must match the team affiliation of the main character using this power. That's really cool. And it plays out pretty much how I thought it would, where it just lets him keep doing that until you don't have the resources to keep it going. But if somehow you did, he could do it indefinitely. Blob. If Blob strikes a character and his boing power causes that character to strike itself, you add Blob's attack to that character's own attack to see if it's enough to stun it. If Blob moves for any reason, including during your formation step or because another effect moves him, he will be prevented from gaining XP at the end of Blob's first turn of the game. He will gain XP if he didn't move that turn. So you would pick where he goes before the game starts. Then formation step, if you just don't move him, pass turn, bam, 1 XP. See, Green Goblin and Venom. Sinister 6 character, go into that deck. Everything else here, that's pretty much what we thought, basically what we thought. Let's see a bit on Sif. You can only recruit her by also paying the green. If you don't have one to pay, you cannot recruit her. Note, if she appears somehow without being recruited, you don't have to pay a green. I guess if you had an effect where it just puts them on your side and doesn't say recruit, then you wouldn't have to pay the green. Ironheart, we're all weirdos, lets your supporting characters team attack even though they don't have the same team affiliation, and if they're not in the same row. If there's at least one melee attacker and at least one range attacker in the same attack, then the attack itself is both a melee and range attack. Note, each character must still legally be able to attack the defender. Rhino sidestep means the defender stays where it is, but avoids Rhino just enough. The defender doesn't count as moving. When an enemy front row character sidesteps, you'll get to pick a new defender. Oh, I get to pick the new defender in their back row. If there aren't any, the combat will end. Sorry, Rhino. Okay, so if there just isn't any back there, then whatever. But if they were protecting something and they sidestep, then you're going to hit that something. Maximus, usurp the throne, lets Maximus KO another player's main character and take over being that player's main character. However, if they don't currently have a main character, it won't do anything. But I don't think a game could exist without them having a main character, so that's a very odd stipulation on that. Omega Red, the phrase could melee attack means Omega Red can legally attack that character right now. Normally, that just means he must be ready and the character must be unprotected. Dark Phoenix. When Dark Phoenix deconstructs the universe, an entire concept of the game is removed from the rest of the game, even if she leaves play. If, as a result of this, the wording of a card's power is unclear, the part that is unclear does nothing. Here's how moving each concept works. +1/1 counters and -1/1 counters. Remove all those counters from the game. Remove the phrases +1/1 counter and -1/1 counter from all card text. For the rest of the game, ignore any effects that would cause these to enter the game in any way. Equipment. Remove all equipment, cards everywhere from the game. This includes all sides, decks, hands, KO piles, and equipment that are already removed from the game. This includes any cards that were once equipment but currently don't count as equipment, such as face-down resources, or an equipment that has become a character via Armanzola's ESP box. Removing the term equipment from all game text. For the rest of the game, ignore any effects that would cause equipment to enter the game in any way. Wow, that's really crazy. Keyword text. Removing this concept doesn't affect flight or range. Remove all keyword text from the game, including powers that can't be turned off. Oh, wow. Remove the term keyword from all card text. For the rest of the game, ignore any effect that would cause keyword text to enter the game in any way. Levels. All main characters everywhere become level 1 if possible, removing all remaining level 2 and higher main characters from the game. Remove all level up powers and XP from the game and the terms level and XP from card text. Ignore any effect that would cause XP or level 2 to enter the game in any way. Plot twist. Remove all plot twist cards everywhere from the game. This includes all decks, hands, KO piles, and plot twists that are already removed from the game. This also includes any cards that were once plot twist cards, but that are not currently plot twist cards, such as a face-down resource. Remove the term plot twist from all card text for the rest of the game. Ignore any effects that would cause a plot twist to enter the game in any way. Superpowers. Remove all superpowers from the game. Remove the term superpower from all card text. For the rest of the game, ignore any effects that would cause any superpowers to enter the game in any way. Stand Together introduces reaction plot twist to the game. When an enemy character uses a superpower after they pay any required power symbols, you can play Stand Together to cancel it before it takes effect. You must have at least as many face-up characters as the number of power symbols they paid. If they paid none, you don't have to have any face-up characters. Okay, so face-up characters would be like if your characters get stunned and they're face down with a wound on them, they're not face up, so face down. If you have none face up, but if they paid no power symbols, you can still use Stand Together. However, if they paid 1 and all your stuff is face down and wounded, then you can't use it. It won't be able to work. That's really cool. I'm missing the little bit of artwork that was on some of these other ones, but overall, I think this is a really cool set, and they try to add a lot of mechanics here and there, and I appreciate the amount of effort that they put into the game. Well, guys, that's it for the Versus System 2-player card game, Volume 1, Issue 11, Crossover. What was your favorite support added to which team in this set? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to stay up to date, my videos and live streams on both YouTube and Twitch, check out links in the description below, like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining. That's all for now, guys. Manjoume out.